Check 1, 2. Ooh, I got some feedback coming. Hey, I'm Galen. How are you? Good. For the Wi-Fi, but we'll figure it out.
I got static on mine.
Are you here for the interview? All right. Oh, I thought you were coming at 11. That works. We're going on the air here in about 2 minutes. Not the way I did.
Mine or yours? That must be yours.
Tied so tight, can't get up, begging your forgiveness. The Betty won't get you up, not the way I did. He's so low as he assumes a new position. He's so low as he pretends to look away. With his heart is in the way.
Can you hear him?
Correct.
We're having a... Do you know the Wi-Fi password? The one I have, it just isn't working.
It's getting set up. We've got a few things going.
Well, now we're back. I have a little over 3,500 cars go across this beautiful auction block. And there are cars of all different shapes and sizes and styles, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. There's a couple things that I'm really looking forward to coming across the block this year. Maybe nothing as exciting as Bullet last year, but there's going to be some pretty cool stuff that I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, and right now we're going to jump right into it, and we're joined by the VP of Marketing from, I'm going to change your headset out. Shane?
Yeah, so while we're getting set up and working out the bugs and changing that headset, so if you don't know what Mecum is, it's the largest auto auction in the United States. Hundreds of millions of dollars go across the Mecum, and the Kissimmee is the largest Mecum auto auction of all of the auctions, and it's not even close. So, some of the other auctions that are, auctions don't even come close to Kissimmee. It is just a perfect storm of demographics and, the culture, time of year, season. So it all comes together and culminates here at Mecum for just kind of a wonderful buying experience for the customers.
Seems like every year there's a little bit more juice. So what's going on this year that's special?
Yeah, I mean, it's this event in particular for us. I mean, we do auctions all over the country all year long. Obviously, this is our biggest. It's the longest, and it's the fastest growing event. I mean, so in the 5 years you've been coming here, it's grown tremendously. Since I've been coming here since 2006, even before I was an employee of Mecum Auctions. I think we first came to the Ocala Heritage Park, and it's just every year has grown leaps and bounds. I mean, to the point where where we're at now with 3,500 cars in 10 days. It's nuts. So this year, obviously, with the pandemic and COVID-19's obviously shifted things a little bit, but bidders and consigners are still coming in droves. We've got just as much, if not, I think even a little bit more bidder activity this year than last year. So
wow,
it's certainly it's just different for everybody collectively, right? I mean, but I think everybody understands that we've got to do things a little bit different than we have. I mean, we've got everybody here in masks, and we've got our bidding floor spread out a little bit more than normal. So there's a little less seating in the auction arena. We had to, in years past, we've always let spectators sit up in the stands to watch. This year, because of the bidder registration activity that we have, and to make sure, obviously, they're our number one priority to make sure they can see the cars and bid on them and buy them, we've had to restrict the auction arena to registered bidders only. So unfortunately, spectators can't come in the building this year, but we have also installed outside various remote viewing locations, so people can still see it on a big screen, they can still hear the activity, they can still see the cars. They can get everything that they were used to if they've been in the years past. They just can't get in the auction arena itself.
Now, is the auction block itself going to be able to, people are going to have access to it? Because historically, on some of those really big builds, look back at Billet, the whole auction block floor, it was like a auditorium or something with all the people standing room only.
Yeah, so we're doing the best we can to keep people off the auction block as far as in droves. I mean, if people still want to get up there and look at the cars, we're not going to prevent them from doing that. But as far as, last year, for anyone that was here for the witness the sale of the Bullitt Mustang, that was sort of a, I don't want to say it was a unicorn moment, but
absolutely.
It was something else. And we haven't seen anything like that up to this point, and I think it'll take quite some time before we see something like that again.
Now, after being in the business as long as you have, do you still get excited about the cars that come across the block?
It's funny, I was just talking about that exact topic with my son last night. My son's 20 years old, and I've got one of his college roommates down here helping us out this week. I was driving him home last night, and his roommate asked me the same question. And, I'm a car guy at heart. I love cars. I love everything about them. And when it becomes work, it gets harder. I don't want to say I become numb, but it takes a lot more to get me excited than it used to if I, revert back 15 years, which is
right.
And I was telling the boys last night in the car, it's like, it's sad really for me being a car enthusiast and enjoying these cars that, I'll walk by, a $500,000 Ferrari like it's a, Toyota Camry. Right? And that's kind of sad. But on the flip side of that, there are, when new stuff comes out or something extremely rare, like Bullitt, for example, for me, from a marketing standpoint, it's a 68 Mustang. We see those things by the hundreds.
Yeah.
But that particular car, when a car's got a story behind it,
right.
And I really, from a marketing standpoint, we really dive in and we really just, showcase something like that, that really gets me excited again. The storytelling aspect and getting deep into those types of cars still excites me. It's more, but it's the people behind the cars and those particular cars themselves with stories that really still gets me.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate to that. It's hard to be in an industry for so long and not get a little bit numb to some of the things. But so, is there anything that you're super excited about this year at Kissimmee?
Well, number one, that we're able to be here and have it, and have it pretty well full scale. That's, to me, that was a win before we even got moving. So,
absolutely.
This year's been quite a challenge for everyone. There's not one person that hasn't been affected in some way, shape, or form. But besides that, as far as the lineup we have this year is extremely quality. The quality runs deep.
Yeah.
So we had, like last year with Bullitt, and we had a couple of great collections, and we had a lot of great cars. This year we've got a lot of great cars. We've got an R model Mustang that's arguably it's a more important car than Bullitt from a actual Mustang standpoint.
Absolutely.
Right.
But we've got that. We've got Carroll Shelby's personal 427.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's
cool.
pretty sweet.
And then we've got a couple of great collections on top of that. Plus, but then the overall general level of quality of cars that runs all the way down the line is a lot deeper. There's a lot of great cars here. And so I'm excited to see how this whole auction plays out.
I want to go back to Bullitt. Sorry, Shane. I want to go back to Bullitt real quick. From a marketing standpoint, as somebody who's in marketing, you guys did a phenomenal job of marketing that car. This is a car, it's a unicorn, right? It's been talked about. It was almost a fable. It was almost a mythical. And then you guys really tapped into that and really did a good job on your worldwide reach.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Luckily, it doesn't hurt to start with a solid base that's something that already had a following, right? So, that car it's an icon. It was a cult classic, an icon. The following was already immense. I just had to tap it and I don't want to say ride the coattail of it, but just jump on that ride,
not screw it up,
and juice it with a little bit of a little bit of gas,
right.
and really just kind of let people know it was there. So I don't want to say it was easy. It wasn't easy. It was a long campaign. It was hard. We started it in August and we ran it all the way until January. It was a long, hard campaign that took a lot of hard work, and my team and everybody at Mecum really just, we collectively, we all kind of got on and rode that wave with it, but, the momentum that built from August leading up to January just kept compounding and compounding and compounding. It was super cool to watch it all play out. I mean, it was something we as an organization were extremely proud of to be a part of, to have been blessed to be able to have the opportunity to sell that car, but then everybody on my team, all the way from, myself, all the way down to, even the person that, that handles our, loading our photos up on the website, the whole gamut of, everybody's excited to be a part of that, and they felt connected to it, and that's really what it's all about. When everyone connects and can, take it personal to a certain extent, that just carries over into the campaign, and it just rolls on its own.
And that was part of the buzz of that car. It was a family driver for years, right? It was just another car on the road, even though the owners knew what they had.
Sure.
And you guys just tapped into that. That short film you guys put together, I thought was really spectacular.
It also doesn't hurt when, even that car or any car, but, that car in particular, Sean, the owner of the car, was very involved with it. So
Absolutely.
having an owner that's willing to be part of it and help us drive that and just, really be part of the marketing itself and be available, for whatever it can, whether it's an interview, whether it's just access, general, having creating that team effort between the seller and the marketing team and the connectivity, and wants to help and be a part of it, that also helps. So that we see that we know how to do our job, they let us do our job, but they're also just being available and being connected to us, and that usually helps take it to that next level.
Yeah, and just to recap, I'm Dalen Old John with Shane Matthews, and we're joined with Sam from the marketing. You're the executive director or something. You have a fancy title. What's your fancy
Vice
title?
President of Marketing.
There you go. See, VP of Marketing. So, and again, we're here live at the Mecum Auto Auction right here in Kissimmee, Florida. And again, I try to explain in the thumbnail sketch what Mecum is. People see one thing on TV, but there's a whole world behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's what people see on TV is only, really 10% of what's going on. It's the most important thing of what's going on. It's one of the most exciting pieces, but outside of this building, there's, 3,000 cars on display. It's a World's Fair of collector cars is really what it is. I mean, it's a great place for a family, for community, for car people to just come and enjoy and relax and just be immersed in their world and feel, this is their, this is their fantasy land, and it's a great place to just come and, the entire organization, what we do, but we tried to create an inclusivity.
The car guy now, because he came to Mecum and realized how wide the world was.
You can't. It's hard to capture that on television.
Correct.
But once you come to an event, you see it in person, you feel that vibe. I mean, once people come, they want to continue to come. They want to come back, whether it's an annual event, they come here year after year, whether it's here or Texas or Pennsylvania or California, wherever we are, feel it, and then they want it's natural. You want to come back.
Oh yeah, it gets infectious. I mean, you just the excitement of being in this room with all the lights and the speakers and everything. It's pretty incredible just from that standpoint. But that's, like you said, that's 10% of the grounds and of everything that's going on. There's just so much to see. There's so much going on. There's so many good, just food vendors. There's beer vendors. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm not ashamed to admit that I like that kind of stuff. And it's such a car person's heaven. It's a car show that you can step behind a couple doors and bid on anything you can imagine. And year after year, delivering the quality that you guys do,
There's a VW Bug on the block.
It's
by
pretty incredible.
A Mustang Fastback. What is that? A 70?
A 70?
No, I think it's lower. I think it's a 74, 75.
No, it's not a 70.
Is it a 70?
It's a 70.
All right, there you go. So, is there anything that we should know that's going on? You guys are open till next Saturday, right? Anything we need to know about that we really need to get excited about?
I mean, here it's just going to be, every day is going to get better and better all the way to the end next Saturday. I mean, the star cars come alive starting next weekend, and there's a lot of great affordable entry-level collectibles going on this weekend into early next week, and it just keeps ramping up. The excitement will continue to build all the way through Saturday. This year, I don't know if you guys know or not, but we've you can see that billboard down there, but we're selling Muscle Car City in Punta Gorda the following weekend. So we'll be down here an extra week in Florida selling a whole other 200 cars, an entire collection, all at no reserve on the West Coast. So
Oh, wow.
so we're going to keep the ball
That's
rolling.
fantastic.
So, and that's an incredible collection.
Have you been before?
I've driven by it. I think it's been open for a long time, but I've never gone inside.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty far drive for us from Ocala a couple of years ago. So.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's just filled with muscle cars and Corvettes. So, and he's, decided to sell off the collection. So we're going to help him get that done, and just kind of ride the coattails of this event and just carry the momentum right over there and get that done before we head back to go to the next one.
Again, Sam, thank you first of all for having us and putting this on in this incredible event. And I can't wait for this week. We haven't even walked around yet. When we're driving and we're like, we're not going to look.
Yeah, we won't be surprised.
We'll come to at least 2 days just to walk around, because it seems like every time you come, there's a car you didn't see before.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to take in one day. It takes a couple days at least to walk around.
Yeah. So, again, hey, thank you very much for your time, and have a great show. And we're going to be right back. You are listening to Shane Matthews and Galen, right here live on WOCA Radio from Mecum Auto Auctions. We'll be right back.
Active. At Brick City, we've been putting the web to work for businesses since 1998. We want to help you too, whether you're a real estate office, law office, medical office, manufacturer, retailer, a church, even a radio station like WOCA. We love to help businesses grow, and we have the knowledge and experience to make it happen. We offer professional, affordable web design, mobile responsive websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, web video and promotions. 1131, or visit us online at Brick City.
Mecum XB Interceptor is. That is here, and it is super cool and coming across the block in a few days. It looks fantastic. I cannot wait to see it. It's in one of the big booths outside. It just looks it's incredible. They've done basically complete build on this car. They used Australian parts, and they got everything to basically replicate the factory. So behind me, let me just get into what's going on. We just had a Harley Davidson go across the block, and now we've got a Ford Excursion going across the block. So you can get anything that you can dream of here, from something like the Falcon XB to a daily driver. You can get basically anything that your heart desires. If you're looking for exotic, if you're looking for run-of-the-mill, every average, if you want a Mini Cooper, they got some. You can get stuff, very reasonable. And then you can also go to the other end of the spectrum and get something insane, like a Mad Max or Batmobile.
And you talked about what you can get, but one of the keys is these are all collectible.
Yeah.
So they're all special in one way or another. There is something unique. We were driving in, and there was a 1977 Pinto. Now, I have no idea what's unique about a 1977 Pinto.
It didn't explode.
Yeah, so I guess it had that going for it. But again, that's just an example, and it's we talk about it all the time. You and I talk about this event all year.
Yeah, we do.
And it's just incredible because of the mass variety, and the quality of these cars. We're not talking about the beater that the guy's got a 69 Camaro, but it's a beater. These are prime, perfect specimens.
Yeah, these are, engine matched, chassis matched. They have a whole team on site that actually that's their job. They make sure that, hey, you said this car matched. They investigate to make sure that these cars are what the bidder expects, and their standard for quality is unparalleled in the auction world. I mean, that's why this event and Mecum is the best at what they do. I mean, it's just they take quality and they take their standards to the absolute next level, and it's just, you can see it. You can see it from the excitement. You can see it from the vehicles they get in stock, and just everything that happens with this event. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to end down to the bottom of the hour. That interview was unexpected for both of us. I thought it was 11:10, no big deal. And so what we're going to do is we're going to step aside one more time. I'm going to try to fix the internet connection because I think we now have it's working supposedly. So a little drama this morning, Shane, nothing like that. That's always the case though, isn't it?
Never happens.
Happens to me all the time.
What?
All right, well, you're listening to, I'm so used to saying high school football right here on WSA, but you're listening to Shane and Galen live from the Mecum Auto Auction right here in Kissimmee, Florida. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
You good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@WOCA.com.
All right, welcome back to the Mecum Auto Auctions. Coming back with the docile tones of some guy named Jason, who's the star of that group. Let's be clear, is the drummer. What? It is, right? Don't you think?
Whatever you say.
I'm Galen Yule, joined with Shane Matthews. I think our connection's better now, so if you're viewing, got onto the Wi-Fi, had a small issue. That wasn't the biggest issue we had today, but it was an issue.
It was an issue, correct.
Yeah. So again, we are live at the Mecum Auto Auction, and what we haven't talked about is what you think is the star of this show.
This year?
Yeah. We talked a lot about Bullet because Bullet's a generational car. But this year, what is your star?
There are so many great things out there, and to be fair, we haven't really walked around a lot yet. But I will say, they do have a Delahaye here, and it looks pretty incredible.
I did see it from a distance.
And I'm very excited about seeing that up close. So if you're not familiar, it's a French-made car, super rare, and this one has been meticulously restored, and it's fantastic.
There's a VW Bug with a blower.
Like I said in the last segment, you can get anything you can imagine here from...
Come on, that's great.
That is great. You can get, there's a Jeep Wrangler in front of that.
And it's followed behind a Cadillac. Right behind it, in front of it, is a Jeep.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a Cadillac DeVille. Mid-70s.
18, 19 feet long.
Yeah.
All right, so your star car.
Probably the Delahaye, just because they're so rare and they're so unique and they're so cool looking. Yeah, I would say that's probably it. What about you?
Yeah, the Delahaye's, they're there's nothing like it
No.
in modern America.
So-
Modern automotive is what I meant.
Correct. You're correct. So before that, there is a replica Batmobile, 60s Batman Batmobile that I tried to get my compadre here to go in and bid on it with me, but he doesn't want to. And then I saw they had the Mad Max car, the Falcon XB.
Okay.
So kind of excited about that. It's probably going to go for a little bit more than what I can afford, since I
I
think
don't think it will. It's a replica. It's not an original.
it's not. But you haven't seen it?
All I saw is the pictures.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
In person, you can hide paint flaws and things like that in pictures.
It's the Mad Max car. You're supposed to have paint
I'm
flaws.
talking about the Batmobile.
Oh.
You and I could literally make a Mad Max car.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, then you keep telling me I have to clean out my garage.
That's
and
correct.
That's
Does anybody
the
have
no-go.
an Australian-built Ford Falcon from
Right.
1973 Falcon?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you need the original chassis. I think you can make it work.
No.
But again, Mecum, it's always just a good thing. And we're not really here to do a PSA for Mecum, but you just can't help it because you're surrounded, and they do such a quality job. It's so much fun.
They do. All right, so last year we talked a lot about resto mods. You remember those
Yes, I do.
conversations? We talked with David,
Yes. The
president of CEO of Mecum. So this year, I thought we'd mix it up a little bit, and let's talk about what you're listening to and what car, and does the music change with the car that you're driving? So if you're driving a 68 Camaro, what does your playlist look like? And is it different than if you're driving a VW Bug with a blower?
Well, first of all, if you have that VW clip bug blower, you're not listening to anything but that. That's the sound. Right on cue. That was well done.
Yeah. And just so you know, it's exciting here. That car just rolled backwards and almost ran over somebody. No, not really. It's very safe here, but
Sure.
It did come back in and start up with a little bit of a start, which was pretty cool.
That's an interesting question. You're much more of a music guy. You know my tastes are all over the map.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's why you're the perfect person to ask this. So, all right. So what?
But
First of all,
there's
let's go.
driving music that I think we all go to.
But does it change for the car?
That's what I don't know. I haven't driven a lot of really nice cars all over the country. Maybe it would.
Okay, so let's
I've never driven a Ferrari.
Let's hypothetical it. I'm thinking if you're in a '69 Camaro, I'm thinking you're going to have a different playlist than if you're in
Well, the last time I was in a '69
Testarossa.
Camaro, it broke down after about half a mile.
So what we listened to while you were waiting for the tow
The
truck?
engine dying. It didn't have it had an AM radio.
What year was this?
Oh gosh,
Never
this
mind.
was
Nobody wants to know
90s.
that. Oh, okay.
So it was pretty damn old at that point.
All right, so I'm thinking, what, do you start out with something like Journey?
Really? Is that
No,
where
do
you?
you?
Why don't we just go to Bon Jovi next? I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, if I'm driving, you got to think of like the road classics. For me, road classic is like Radar Love.
Okay.
The Chili Peppers would obviously be in there. The Cure, Depeche Mode, and then Tom T. Hall with
one of
Cat
the
Dog.
best driving albums, if you're going to look from start to
From
finish,
start to
driving
finish,
album.
driving albums. yes, man.
Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Guns N' Roses.
That's hard to beat because it's got a little bit of everything.
It does.
What you don't want to do is listen to James Taylor after some girl dumped you and drive because you may just kill yourself.
You might just veer into oncoming traffic.
Those are the ones. Let's avoid those.
I think they've banned James Taylor from most cars.
Bon Jovi, you should not listen to at any point as long as we're playing. And the Rolling Stones, I would never listen to. So we're taking those two out, but just about everything else is on the table.
Okay.
Like if I'm in a truck, I'd probably like the new Jeep truck.
Yeah, the Gladiator.
Brooks and Dunn would be great.
Okay,
Their
so
second
you're
album.
proving my point. So
Yeah,
the playlist does change
It took a while.
with the vehicle.
It took a while. A VW Bug, it's so almost impossible to hear anything in a VW Bug because the quality is so terrible.
So if you're in that Cadillac that's rolling across right now, it looks like maybe I'm going to say somewhere
Look at the
between
sidewalls. I don't know if you can. Yeah, they can't see it on the camera.
Can't see it on the
but
camera.
It looks lowered.
I think it's just heavy. I don't think it's lowered.
There's a few dead bodies.
Yeah.
You could park a
Yeah,
small
you
family.
can tell there are dead bodies because it is leaning back just a little bit.
Yeah, I think there are some dead bodies in the back. You could fit a whole family of dead bodies.
So, are you listening to Sinatra in that?
That's a great call. Yeah, I was thinking of the Rat Pack, but
Yeah.
maybe a little Bing Crosby.
I can see that. That.
Elvis.
It's not Pink. I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess it would be in your mood.
I guess if the interior's got those little dingle balls around that, you could probably pull off some Elvis in there.
Is there ever you wouldn't listen to what's the Viva Las Vegas?
Yeah,
in that car?
I could see that. I could see it more if it was like gold. That's a black. That's a wise guy car.
That's true. That's true.
I don't see
you do not
wise
want to be in
guys-
a black car in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't
death.
see wise guys rocking out to Elvis. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're a wise guy out there and you want to
Maybe a little
leave
rap. You
message
could listen
for
to some PE and that, some Public Enemy.
some Public Enemy, I could totally see that.
Or Beastie Boys.
Oh, I could totally see Beastie Boys.
Well, you can listen to Beastie Boys you could listen to in any car.
Yeah.
Kid Rock, same thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not the same music. But what I mean by that, Shane, the
oh.
music guy, you're such a music snob.
Not really.
And it's not because you're a ginger. It's just because you're a musical snob.
It's because I'm a ginger.
You're a musical snob.
It's okay. I'm a musical ginger.
It's okay. I don't know. That may be a category all of its own.
Could be. All right.
And you're a drummer, which is next level everything. OCD.
Yeah. So next coming across, and I know we're not going to exclusively talk about the cars coming across the block, but I do see coming up looks like maybe a 2006.
Yeah. Mustang.
No, I'm talking about the Hummer.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like an H3 pickup. Not a lot of those were made.
Love them. I love that. I've told you, secretly I want to own two cars, a Porsche 911 and a Hummer. I would rather have the full H1.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to have it, you might as well have one that's going to take up your entire house.
Yep. Absolutely.
But I think the H1 is just going to rise in price. Like that, the H1, this particular one, it's white.
That's H3.
H3, I'm sorry. It's got great wheels and tire package on it.
Yep.
There's probably 15 people gathered around that. That's an exciting car right there.
It is because again, they're very limited, very rare.
Yeah, they only made like 2,500.
Maybe.
They made a stock version or a version for the military.
Right.
And the military destroyed them all.
Well, this is the factory pickup, which is super, super, super rare. It's a great looking vehicle. I originally was thinking, I could probably afford that, but judging by the group of people, no, I couldn't. Judging by the group of people that were around that vehicle, that is leaps and bounds above my price range. I'm looking more of a VW Bug, maybe with no engine, or maybe a Mini Cooper with 3 wheels.
Yeah, you keep saying this Mini Cooper, and I told you you're gonna have to move.
Well,
unless you go full British on it. I want the Union Jack on the hood.
Oh, of course.
Or on the roof.
Yeah, you have to. And the only reason I was looking at that is because I think it's the only car coming across today that I could afford.
Well, you got a new job too. That's all the way in Brooksville.
Yeah.
That's a long drive. You're going to need something that gets good gas mileage.
Yeah, and so something if I need to go under a semi, I can do that.
You're going to be pulling up in a Leaf. And by the way, I know I give Dan a lot of grief for his yellow truck.
Yes, you do.
Trust me, you pull up in a Leaf, I'm just going to, I may sell tickets for people to heckle you, coming into the neighborhood.
Our neighbor down the street had a Leaf.
Yeah, did I ever talk to them?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, you did.
Who? No, I heckled them for their miracle marriage.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm an equal heckler. I'll heckle anybody for their vehicle. I drive a white Rogue.
Yeah.
I like white.
Yeah.
That's a white truck too.
Yeah.
That's probably why I liked it.
Yeah, when I look out my window, Gail and I are neighbors, so when I look out the window, he's got 3 white cars. And then his wife's car is not white, so she goes
her original pick was white, but I couldn't find one. It's silver. Couldn't find one. What did the Hummer go for? It's listed right now 22.
Oh,
sold for 22,000.
That's not bad.
That's not terrible. Followed up by is that a Lexus or is
that's Celica, 98 Celica.
Oh, that's a terrible car. I don't like that car at all.
All right. So that's it. We're done with the music. We're done with the playlist.
Well, I mean, you didn't really bring anything to the table.
Well, that's because I'm used to
Okay, let me ask you this.
filling the airspace.
What car would you listen to with AC/DC? Porsche 911, I'll tell you this. Porsche 911, my dream, I want to own one. I'm listening to my alternative music. I got The Cure on. I've got a little bit of chill in the background. If you're listening to Sirius XM, the chill is always on. That's what I do, and just enjoy it.
That's what you do in your 911, your hypothetical 911.
Yeah, one day.
All right, so in my hypothetical McLaren F1, what am I listening to?
Foo Fighters.
Yes, of course.
You listen to the Foo Fighters on your bicycle.
That's true. That's true. My bicycle has a cup holder, incidentally, and I'm very happy about that.
There's no time. We have to take the Foo Fighters out for you. Maybe we should take The Cure out for me then.
Okay.
So let's say those are gone, but then I would probably just listen to chill. Some of a downbeat.
Okay, I could see that. I think, what would really sound good in a McLaren F1 probably? Everything, but you know what specifically?
You would listen to your mother-in-law.
I think I would probably...
You would listen to your mother-in-law in a McLaren.
I think it would be such a serene environment that I could probably get away with listening to Fields of Gold from Sting. It's not a driving, but I think it is.
The whole album?
Yeah, whole album.
But there are like 6 or 7 minutes where it's... I don't know.
Yeah, but that's when you just floor it. The car does 231 miles an hour.
How about Yoko Ono's album, her Screaming album?
I don't think that's a thing.
Is that music?
No, I don't think that's even a thing. I think you made that up.
That's what killed John Lennon.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, he would have been dead.
Probably.
Yeah, that would have killed him. But again, I'm Galen, Shane Matthews. We're here at the Mecum Auto Auction. That Toyota Celica went for $3,000.
So, that was totally in my budget. I missed it.
I think so.
Missed my opportunity.
Yeah, and again, it's there's a Camaro. There's your Camaro right there. Oh, no, that's not the one you want. I just saw the front bumper. That's a resto mod, though.
I'd take that.
That's a resto mod.
Yeah, I would take that.
And again,
you can tell it's a resto mod because it looks like it's got 22s on it.
The one car, and we haven't talked about this yet, and I really want to get into deep. Are we at a precipice for automobiles? I say that every year, and then a car gets better. There are 2 cars that are out there right now that I am extremely excited about. All right, one is the 2020 Corvette. It may be the best car for its time or any time that the United States has ever made. And you know me, I love to say ridiculous things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. When you look at the 2020 mid-engine Corvette, convertible, it's as good as any American-made car ever. I stack it up against the Mustang, the 59 Corvette, you name it. Think about that. The F-150, the Hummer. Yeah, I think it's the best car America has ever made. Granted, the technology's better and all that, but I think it's the best car America's ever made.
I'm trying to think of something to disagree with you because that's my favorite thing, and I can't think of anything. I guess it depends on. So what about the Hellcat?
No, that's an engine upgrade. It's still a Dodge Charger, right?
Yeah.
Or Challenger.
Okay.
With a bigger engine. I mean, it's still the Corvette, the mid-engine Corvette. The looks are spectacular.
Every time I see one
Road and
behind
Track
me,
has
I
said
think
it's
it's
the
a
best
McLaren.
handling Corvette of all time, and that it competes with a Porsche 911 on handling. And the Porsche 911 is the benchmark.
Yeah, it's the bar. Absolutely. Yeah, I as much as I hate to say it, I can't disagree with you on that.
Now, again, time will tell, right? Time will tell if that car holds up, what the quality of it is. More people get into it. I know the waiting list for that car is 8 months.
Is it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Are you on the list?
No. I work for a non-profit charitable organization, and my neighbor doesn't have any money.
No, that's true.
So the second car that I'm really jacked up about, and I'm not an electric car guy,
Right.
but the new Porsche all-electric vehicle, it has a range of 350 miles, the charge of 15 minutes, goes 0 to 100 in something like 5 seconds.
That's pretty incredible. Since you brought up electric cars, I'm excited about the Hummer EV. I think that thing is going to be incredible. The crab crawl, if you haven't seen it, it can go
That's
sideways.
the incredible part of it.
It's
After that, the towing capacity is less than a Jeep.
but it can do 0 to 60 like a Lamborghini.
But if you're going to have a Hummer, right, the zombie apocalypse comes, you need to be able to go over rugged mountains.
You can go over rugged mountains. Have you seen it? Crab crawl.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's got no torque. You can't pull anything with it.
What are you going to pull in the zombie apocalypse? A zombie?
My mobile home.
Your mobile home? Well, maybe you use your mobile home to pull your Hummer. That's your bug out vehicle.
That's right.
That's an industry term, bug out vehicle.
You only like it, and it's cool. I get it. If you haven't seen the Hummer crab crawl, your life isn't full.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, as soon as we're off the air, Google it.
Yeah.
Or YouTube'll it.
Yeah, but that's the only redeeming quality of it.
It's pretty cool looking.
I wonder if they'll have one. No, it hasn't even been released yet.
No, but you know what they do have? They do have a 2020 Bronco here that's going to go across the block.
I wanted to see that because you and I, that's a vehicle that I think the whole world's excited about. At least the people that I deal with.
Yeah. I think everybody's excited about the 4-door, the bigger one. I think this one is one of the smaller, the 2-door.
Well, they have, and again,
they have 3 different models.
Yeah, but they have 3 models, and then there's like 12 different trim packages.
Right.
And so the engines matter, the wheels. I saw one, and it was the lowest trim package, and the wheels were 12 inches. 12-inch wheels on a Bronco.
Yeah, I could.
That's a golf cart.
Yeah.
Not even a night. That's a Muni 1 golf cart.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds bad.
Golf course. Golf cart. Not one of these that are tricked out in our neighborhood.
So
for those thug kids that need to be arrested.
No golf carts.
We have a biker gang in our neighborhood, and now they've upgraded to a golf cart.
Yeah.
All they want is money. They stop me all the time.
Yeah, they heckle them from their golf cart as they drive by.
Their golf cart's nicer than my work car. That's true.
That's accurate. So my thought is if you got on the waiting list to buy a 2020 Bronco, and then you got it.
Correct.
And then in less than 6 months, you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to auction this off.
Oh, they're trying to tap into the market. It must have everything. It must have everything.
It could. I didn't do a deep dive into it, but
and we'll look at it.
It could.
And if it's absolutely fully loaded, then somebody will want it. I mean, look at the Charger. The Charger specifically, the first year it came out.
Yeah.
People were going crazy if you had all the options.
You know what is a
now
shame?
Now you can get a 2016 Charger.
Did you see the prototype of the Charger before it came out?
Yes.
And how cool that was, and how they changed it a lot.
They had to.
They watered it down for TV.
They had to.
But the original was pretty incredible.
You know, I like the Charger, or the Challenger. And then the Charger doesn't look as good to me. I don't like 4 doors on anything.
Right.
To me, if it has 4 doors, it's got too many.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a need for 4 doors, but if you're going to spend and buy a nice collector car, it's got to have 2 doors.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Lincoln.
Yeah.
Right, or a Cadillac.
Or like this, what is that? A police interceptor that's going?
No,
across?
that's a Cadillac.
No, that's not a Cadillac.
I thought the front end was a Cadillac.
No, that's definitely the. Remember they made that.
Is that the Merc?
Yeah, it's the Mercury. The one they made my stepbrother would know. He's a Mercury
Is he a Mercury guy?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
I don't know.
They don't even exist.
I think there is.
So, I forgot what we were talking about. You got me on a tangent.
What are the chances?
This is our life right here.
Yeah, you're witnessing it.
If you can't keep up with me, then you're not paying attention.
Well, who really can?
No one.
So if you're just tuning in, this basically.
Oh, we were talking about the Bronco.
Oh yeah, the Bronco.
The Bronco. I really do want to see it, but I don't know why you would want it. I really believe the car companies outthink it. Like the Jeep came out with not the Jeep Liberty, but there's a grade lower than the Jeep Liberty. Is that the one that's just terrible?
The Jeep Lego?
Yeah, maybe it is the Liberty.
I think it's the Liberty.
And from the back end, it looks like a
Patriot. They have the Patriot. They have the Liberty, and I don't know where those sit on the
I don't know,
on the scales of Jeep.
There's a Jeep, and I get behind it. I'm like, why? for the same money, you could buy an SUV that at least looks good.
Yeah.
You're not buying nothing but the name. Now, I'm not talking about the Jeep Wrangler. I'm not talking about the new Jeep truck. The new Jeep truck off the lot is terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible because I think they realize, look, whoever buys this is going to spend another $5,000 and put the right wheels and tires
you
on
have
it.
You have to put big tires on it. It has to be
Or it
off the
doesn't
ground.
look
It
right.
doesn't look right.
But when you get the right wheel and tire package on a Jeep,
When you see the Gladiator with the wrong tire package, the bed
you
looks
hope
like
they're on their way to get new wheels and tires.
Well, yeah, because the bed looks like it might fall off at any time.
Correct.
Because it looks like it's way shorter than it should be.
Correct.
But when you put big tires on it and you lift it a little bit in the back, it balances out.
Yeah, but the same is true with the Bronco, right? If you're going, right, if you just want to get a grocery getter, don't sit back and wait for the two-door EV Bronco with 12-inch rims.
Right.
Just go buy a Nissan Rogue where the base model has power windows.
Right.
And a backup camera.
Right.
You know, I don't think the Bronco, the one I saw, I was like, this is embarrassing. And it wasn't brown, but it wasn't gold. It was somewhere in between. It wasn't quite doo-doo brown. You know what I'm talking? It was like a taupe.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm like, who the hell wants a taupe? And this person was all excited. I'm like, this is what you were waiting for?
And where was this?
This was it. They work where I work.
Oh, really?
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Everybody knows where I work, but you can put the pieces together.
Hopefully they're not listening because you just slammed their car.
No. Whoever buys that car doesn't care anything about Mecum.
No. Yeah, that's a fair point.
They don't care. They drive their bicycle probably more.
That's very possible. Very possible.
All right, so what else are you jacked up about? I mean, the Bronco, I really do want to see the 2020 Bronco. You and I have had this conversation about the Bronco, and that's another one of those cars that's iconic, right? When you see a Bronco that's done well with the right wheels and tires, it just has a great stance.
It does. And I got to say, I want to applaud Ford for coming out with the Bronco, first of all, because I like when they do that retro look, but new.
They can't turn it into an Explorer.
But you're right. But look at the other side. Look at what Chevy did. The Blazer.
It's terrible.
Why? They already had 3 SUVs that look exactly the same. Why did they even...
It had a chance. It had a chance.
When they typed the name Blazer, it had a chance. As soon as they put pen to paper, it was over because they basically came out with, I don't know, a fancy...
Maybe it sells.
Whatever their
because you
SUV
look
is
at,
called.
you know, and you and I are both fathers, and we understand that there's a time in your life where you have to carry kids.
Yeah.
You have a whole S-ton over on your side of the neighborhood. They're all boys.
Yeah.
I don't have as many as you. Mine are just taller.
Right.
Better fed. So, I'm kidding. Rebecca, that was a joke. That was a joke. Please keep the bread and the meat coming because I need my meat from Fort McCoy.
Right.
Let's do the plug right now.
All right, well, let's do it right now. Is that what we're doing?
Let's do the plug.
You're gonna...
I also want to plug a podcast that I've really gotten into, Channel Zero, because it's all about conspiracy theories.
Thanks for
Channel Zero
throwing me
podcast.
completely off guard with my topic.
Well, I took a shot at Rebecca's cooking, and I realized that was a terrible, terrible mistake.
So
it was just a joke.
What goes great with muscle cars and classic cars?
Food?
Steak.
Okay.
Steak.
Okay.
You know where you
have this all written out.
No, it's in here.
Okay.
I just I have talking points.
Because you
It's
have gained 20 pounds since you started working there. You walk out to get the mail, and now you have meat sweats.
I do. I have meat sweats. So, so if you're looking for some high quality meat, and I mean beef, this is 100% from farm to processing to truck to you, all in the same family, all in the same workers, all in the same relationship, then there's 2 locations in Marion County where you can get this on a regular basis. On Thursdays.
What is the name?
It's FM Meat Products, Fort McCoy. FM Fort McCoy. FM Meat Products. And they have a truck, and it has 2 locations. On Saturdays, you can find it right next to Sam's Club on Highway 200. It's right in where the parking lot entrance, where the mobile home place used to be.
Yeah.
On Saturdays, you can get. They're there from 10 to 5. I think that's right. 10 to 4 on Saturdays. And then on 36th Avenue, If you're going down, if you're on 36 and you cross over Mecum going south, it's at the curve
In the
there.
shores.
No, on Mecum, on 36th, I mean.
Yeah.
So it's right there where the Lotus Market is.
Oh, I got you.
Right on the corner
Okay.
there. So they're there 10 to 5 on Thursdays, and this is not your average quality. This is above average.
Their hamburgers are perfect.
We had a fantastic. So 2 times a week you can get it. You can get it Thursdays off 36th Avenue or Saturdays 10 to 4 off of Highway 200.
Maybe you'll take me over there tomorrow.
Probably not.
We're going to eat.
All right. No, you know what? We are going to be right by there.
But we'll probably be too late. I don't want to keep the meat in the car while we're eating.
That's true.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to step aside for the top of the hour break, and then when we come back, we have an interview with the head honcho here at the GM of the Heritage Park.
Yep.
And we're going to talk to him here in a little bit.
Yep.
But you're listening to the Mecum Auto Auction right here on WOCA The Source. I'm Galen Udall with Shane Matthews. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@WOCA.com.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
Wait, is that the side where the septic...
Johnny, get out of there!
Having septic problems? At Mike Scott Plumbing, we can make those septic worries disappear. We can pump your septic tank, repair your drain field, and, if needed, even install a whole new system. At Mike Scott Plumbing, we don't take crap from anyone. We take it from everyone. 237-2888. Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Frustrated, short on words and overwhelmed. I bring you flowers and
Here we are. Welcome back to the Mecum Auto Auction. I'm Galen Udall. You're listening to WOCA The Source. We're broadcasting live, and I'm joined with Shane Matthews. And you ready, Rob? And Rob Larson, you got us?
Yes.
All right. And again, this complex, and you're the general manager of the Osceola Heritage Park. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
And this place is incredible. It seems like you guys, the housing of it. Before I ever come to Mecum, all you really see is about 50 feet of the stage, right?
Right.
But then when I came on grounds, I'm like, whoa, where did all this come from? And I know you guys are big for the rodeo, but this place is massive.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a great ride. I've been fortunate to be here since we opened up, and wasn't aware I'd be here this long. When I first got here, I thought it'd be a minute or two.
Right.
But that's a long story that we'll have to share on another day. But it's been fascinating to watch the growth of the property, and we've had tremendous support from the county and the county leadership, and the location that we are just meant growth. So when we started and opened up 16 years ago, we were primarily known for rodeos, which we're still known for rodeos, But we would get phone calls like, hey, it's raining out. Do I need an umbrella? And I'm like, no, we got a roof.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 100 degrees out. Like, you guys have air conditioning. Yeah, we got. So we've come a long way from those days where we've really grown up to, we've got almost 200 acres total. We have the arena that we're sitting in now that can seat capacity of up to 11,000 people.
Wow.
Then we have an event center next door to us that we do hundreds of events.
Those are also
every year.
nice cars in there right now.
Yeah, nice cars over there. We now have the Osceola County Stadium is under our direction as well, and then we.
Because that's all part of the complex. Because you have 2 baseball fields.
Yeah.
What is exactly over there?
Actually, it's changed. So about a year and a half ago, we now have Orlando City from the MLS.
Oh, you do?
Orlando
Okay.
City's training grounds are here now year-round.
Okay.
So there's a 30,000 square foot training complex for them, and it's surrounded now by what used to be baseball fields, by 4 soccer fields. And then we've transformed the stadium from baseball into soccer. So we host home games for Orlando City B team.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've been, you've seen what Mecum has done. They started 16 years ago in the corner of our property with 2 tents, and now they've turned into the world's largest auction for maybe 5, 6, 7 years here.
Yeah.
And then success breeds success. So, people see this, and then already the fair and the rodeo are huge for us with the Silver Spurs Rodeo. Then we got Ram National Circuit Finals Rodeo. Then we landed Country Thunder Music Festival, which we're thrilled with. So on top of the 4 venues I mentioned, we've added a festival area out back that can seat up to 50,000 people. So coming up this year, we have Eric Church is going to be one of the main headliners, but we bring tens of thousands of people out there. So we've got a lot of opportunity for outdoor events, indoor events. So our flexibility is incredible. So, when I mentioned when I first got here, we're kind of limited what we can do, but the looking forward into the future with the leadership of the county, I work for ASM Global, so we got buildings all over the world that we have access to touch points on what we can do here. I myself had a lot of background experience in other venues. So when I got here, if you close your eyes, you could picture what's happening now. And I think there's a lot more to go. We're looking at building a hotel, multiple hotels on our property.
On property?
Yeah, so over on the east side will be we hope to break ground in the near future before this year is out.
Wow.
With the pandemic, things have slowed down with that project.
Sure.
But, it's just, our goal is I would love for people when they hear of Osceola Heritage Park across the country first and then the world to know who we are. So we got a long way to go. But when people hear about Madison Square Garden, that's what I tell my staff, and we talk about it on a regular basis. We wake up every day so we can create a venue that rolls off people's tongues no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And we've come a long way in 15, 16 years. We got a long way to go, but there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. So
Absolutely.
we try to dream big here.
That's cool.
Yeah, you said earlier something about, almost having the Midas touch, and you've kind of had that effect with the different organizations you've been involved in over the years, and that's pretty fascinating to me. It seems like every place that you've gone has experienced just tremendous growth and tremendous success, and I'm really glad that, you're here and you brought that vision to this facility, because I remember coming here, years and years and years ago, and it was the same year after year, and every time I come on grounds, and the grounds are immaculate. I mean, this place is fantastic and spotless and flawless, and I know that you guys just did the is it
BioAssure, to make sure we're safe and sanitized.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge deal, and you were the first place and the first venue like this in Central Florida to do that, and I think your vision of keeping people safe and expansion is just it's incredible. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. That's great. I've had a lot of teachers over the years. And here with my team at ASM Global, like these people make me look good every day. Like I can't thank them enough. But we really try to create a team culture, and I've been blessed in my life. God is good from my early career throughout, and you mentioned where I've been, and I was lucky when I first started off and got to experience the Detroit Pistons as my first thing. I was 27 years old. And it was back in the bad boy days.
Correct.
Right.
And we're winning championships. And I'm like, my head was getting a little big for my britches here because it was like.
So you went to minor league baseball?
I saw. Yes,
nothing like.
Well, I thought that's what you do. You just win championships.
Sure.
So when I went to Detroit, and at that point, I was starting my career, and I was in sales, and I had a pretty mid-level to high-level job, but I was not in charge of anything. I was along for the ride and helped make everybody look good. But we got to have all these blessings poured over us. So when I'd go out to dinner with my wife back then in Detroit, and they heard that you worked for the Pistons, like I could have carried out the garbage and I would get a free meal. Like everybody loved the Pistons.
So you probably you were wearing the ring back then.
Yeah, I know.
You were wearing that ring.
I'd sit there like this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you sing something? Yeah.
But and I watched that, and it was fascinating to watch. That team was so good.
Yeah.
And the only reason they were good is they came together as a unit, and we all know that if you're a sports fan.
Yeah.
And
I'm not a sports fan, but I'm from Michigan, so I'm a Detroit fan. And I know I know the area you're talking about, and I know that there was not like a Jordan on that team. It was a group. There were some good players.
Isaiah was pretty good.
But it was definitely
It was
a team.
the anti-Jordan because Jordan hated him.
Yeah, well, so it was a great lesson for me. So I watched this, and it was fascinating. It was like, man, we can just win and win. You remember, we should have won another two. We should have won two. We should have won four.
You should have.
But then when it ended, it was very visible to see what was happening, and there was a fracture within the organization of relationships from the coach to the general manager. Then that divides the locker room. So I watched this from a distance, so I don't know all the details, but you could see it. And then the one-loss record just fell off the table, and then we got swept by the Bulls, and everything changed. So I remember
with
that.
the city as well. I mean, the city is changed since that time as well. I mean, it's gone, into a completely different direction than I think anybody ever thought it would. So
yeah, that's a shame, but it'll come back. But I remembered it because we had the same players, the same talent, and we should have kept winning.
Yeah,
and the relationship wasn't there. So again, I was young and impressionistic, and then throughout my career, I've been lucky to work at the Magic and Penn State, and been around a lot at Hershey. Been around a lot of successful people, and the one thing they all have in common is they're all very positive. And there's a lot of hope, and the attitude is tremendous.
Yeah.
And there's never any me. It's always like, how can we do this?
Right.
And you can go right down the line of the people that I've been lucky to be next to, from Julius Erving to Doc Rivers and the list goes, Joe Paterno. The list goes on, and people that I just rub shoulders with. Don't get me wrong. It's not like
but influence is influence. I mean,
I would see it from if I was in the office next to them, I would see what they would do.
Going across right now is the Bronco. We were just talking about that.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's nice. The yellow.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's about the attitude. So thank you for talking about it earlier. To circle, what I'm doing is a long thank you. I learned a lot from a lot of people that I've tried to implement here. So we're trying to bring the bad boys here. Like, we want to win as a team collectively with a lot talent.
Yeah,
I have a lot of talent around me, and it's starting to show. And I know I keep seeing there's a lot of talent in Osceola County. Quite frankly,
really is.
It's like I won't say a hidden jewel because people know about us now, but for a while it was. So it's really fun to watch happen.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and talk about Mecum. What made you? Let's be clear. 16 years ago, nobody would have thought that an automobile collectible car auction would be like this.
Right.
So why did you say yes the first time they called? Just because you needed to rent that little piece of property there with 2 tents?
Well, it was fun. I don't know, did anybody tell you the story how they ended up here?
No.
So one day we work with Harold Gertis, is the vice president, and he's been the person we work with closely over these years. He was driving by here on his way to the airport. He did a U-turn because he saw all the land, because they used to do a small one down in Kissimmee. I can't remember exactly where it was. It might have been in Old Town.
Old Town, probably.
Yeah, so they did a small one there, and he saw it. He popped in and said, "Hey, I'm interested in your place." Quick discussion. The next year he came in. They did 2 tents in the corner of the property. I had just become general manager shortly before that, and I was like, mad I had to work that weekend. I was, because I wasn't a car person at that time.
Right.
And all I knew was 2 tents, and it was maybe 200 cars, and it was raining, and it was outside, and it was cold, and it was January, and it was like, so we did it, and then we did it again. And then
they paid their bill.
And they paid their bill.
At some point, as a general manager, they paid their bill.
and back in the day, we weren't doing what we're doing now. It was like, we'll take what we can get. And then they grew from there, and then they went to the event center. And then they were in the event center and outside. And then 8-9 years ago, they were in the event center, and you could not push the cars through the
Wow.
audience. Don't tell the fire marshal.
Yeah.
It was so.
I think the statute of
crowded.
limitations is over.
Yeah,
I think
he's,
you're all right.
he's no longer. But it just got so packed. So they came to me and said, I think we need to go somewhere else. And I said, have you seen our arena? So we came over here, and they're brilliant in what they do. So they saw. I didn't know how the arena worked. All I know is we got a lot of space over here. Let's try and do it. And they see what you have. So now the cars come through here. It's almost like we were built for Mecum.
Yeah.
I've asked them
really
before.
are.
I
It
said,
really
"Why
is.
do you do this?
really are.
Do this 365 days a
Yeah.
year, we'd all be happy.
Yeah.
But it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, if somebody has not been here before, it's so much more than an auction. You know, it's a festival. It's an event. There's sights to behold. If you love cars, I can tell you guys like cars because we're in the middle of an interview. Everybody out there listening, all of a sudden, both these guys.
Sorry, there's a Bronco came up.
Sorry about that.
I'm joking. But I say that because I've been on interview, or I've showed people around or give tours, and we're on a golf cart, and they like jump back before I can hit the brakes.
Right.
Like, there's that 1970 Chevelle that I grew up with. I need to see it.
So when did you become a car guy in all this, or have you become a car guy?
I'm more and more. I can kind of talk the game enough, but if you get real detailed, I'm still not a good enough car guy. Don't mention that to Mecum.
No, that's okay. Because I think what this is, like our wives, they love coming to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but to them, they don't know any difference between the Corvette and a Corvette, right?
Right.
My wife does.
Yeah, I would hope mine would, but let's not push it. But they know what they like, right?
Yes.
And they could stop and look at it for the art that it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My wife is in my years now. She says before this is over, we need to buy a car there. She wants like a little convertible thing. And she's not a car person either.
Yeah.
Well,
When you see the cool cars.
Yeah,
go
we
by.
just saw one, a Toyota Celica. I
Yeah.
wouldn't suggest that. That went for $3,000.
Yeah.
But that's the
I think you could do better than
That's
that.
the beauty, though. You can get a car for $3,000, or you can get a car for $8 million. You know,
Yeah.
there's such a spectrum of people that come here that can enjoy this event and this facility. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, the grounds they're gorgeous. I mean, like you said, it looks like it was set up for this event, and I know that you guys do so much more. I'm really excited about the concerts that you're getting in, and I think that's going to really add something to South Orlando area that is desperately needed.
The best Datsun Z ever made just went across the block.
Yeah.
The 78 Datsun 280ZX,
Yeah.
19,000. That car, that was my favorite car when I was 8. So
When you were 8?
yeah.
I
That's
was
when it
just
came out.
I thought you might be had some fun in that car, I bet.
No, I'm not that
But
old.
you weren't
Thank you.
that
I
old.
appreciate that, Rob.
Okay.
That's nice.
I didn't hear the year. I just
No,
know
it's
the
good.
guy.
78.
You know, I forget
don't
how
care.
old I am.
Oh, I'm old.
That's the real issue.
We're both pretty old. We've been dying for a while now.
Yeah.
No, but it's and again, from the street, but did all the infrastructure in there and all the pavings, was that already in place
No, that's happened over the years since I've been
because of Mecum? Because it's everything from tent to tent for the most part. Once you get onto the main part, it's all paved.
Yeah, no, a lot has to do with. So a couple years ago, we didn't have the nice frontage of the whole property. It costs a lot of money to build a tent and
Yes, it
build a
does.
floor.
Yeah.
So I went to the county, and again, because of their willingness to grow, they said, you know what, let's invest in that. So we got a parking lot out here that you see that huge tent that goes down every year. And as a result, we work together. It's like, okay, let's do this, and we'll sign another contract for X amount of years, and we'll work together. So Mecum has been a tremendous partner in the sense we both think alike, and we both want each other to do well. So you won't find anything like, hey, you made more money this year than we did, or we want to do better this year than you did. And it's, again, back to the bad boy things. We all got to win together, and they have the same attitude. In our business, in promotions, in promoters, there's some good ones and there's some bad ones, and a lot of them just want to come in and take advantage of the situation and then skip town. With them, they want to grow with us, and we've even joked about Harold and I ultimately retiring same year.
time?
Yeah, like let's go
gavel each
another
other off?
decade, and then maybe we can.
Maybe you could auction off your services.
Yeah, there you go.
Where did the idea to move the lake come from? I know you guys were looking at growth, and
By the way, he talked about the lake the whole way up because they're moving a lake. I'm like, what?
yeah, where did that idea come from? I mean, how did it even come into whoever's mind thought that up? I mean, what was it? Just a need for growth without buying more property, or what was the process
Well,
like?
kind of a combination. So Don Fisher, our county manager, and Beth Knight, our deputy county manager, Dave Tomac oversees all of our community development. We report to. They're building a Neo City. I don't know if you heard of that project across the street.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
You need to look it up. We don't have time to talk about it, but it's going to be the future of our community where they're building sensors and developing them. It's futuristic stuff going on over there. You walk into their research center, you got to wear like like you're a man on the moon to walk in there.
Oh, really?
There's no dust particles. There's nothing in that.
Oh,
room.
it's one of those technology centers?
Technology
Yes.
for futurist, sensors.
Yes.
They're working with equipment that you and I
understand.
can't see with the naked eye. So
I understand.
don't understand it all.
Yeah.
Right.
But they say, and I believe it's going to impact the entire southeast region of our
I'll
country
bet.
ultimately.
Wow.
And it happens to be right across the street from us. So as a result, we're kind of tethered to them, and we want everything we're here being first class. And we continue to grow. We needed more space, but they've got a beautiful body of water that's being developed across that street. They needed more water, and we needed more land.
I see the wheels going.
And I was not in the meetings, and I'm sure I'm probably giving a hacked version of what went down. But from my viewpoint, is we gained many tens. I forget what it is, 50 acres, whatever it is. We gained acres of land and parking, event space, ultimately hotel space. They gained a beautiful body of water that is going to make this whole community, because across the street, not only is it going to be a research center, there's a school there will be apartments, there'll be restaurants, it'll be a whole city going
And this
over
whole
there.
part of the
fantastic.
county
Yeah.
really needs that kind of investment and that influx of people. It's going to change this whole zip code.
Oh, it is. It is. It's like what I feel like I'm in a history book. For the 15 years I've been here, from you go down the road and there's ranches that have 10,000 acres.
Yeah.
And then you keep driving this way, and we used to. If you guys have been here for years, many years ago, there was nothing around.
There's nothing.
us.
Right.
And we were known
Other than the hotels.
just for the rodeos, right?
Right.
We just did rodeos. That was it. But everything is growing, and it's watching. So we're watching it grow around us, and then that's just the next step. And I hope I'm around long enough to see a lot of this take place. I know I won't be, but when we all come back in 2 or 3 decades from now, you won't even recognize it. But it's fun to be part of this huge wave.
Yeah.
And doing our little part here to drive business to our community. And during the pandemic, it has been terrible for all of us.
Yeah.
And we've been really blessed to be as active as possible and keep people safe. We've hosted during the pandemic, since it started in March, we've hosted probably 130 events,
Really?
probably over 125,000 people.
Wow, that's
Wow.
amazing. I wouldn't
And
have expected that.
Nobody would think that, but we're doing it, and it's not that we want, we're very careful. You see what we're doing.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a mixed bag because we really have to limit the number of people that come into the building and the number of attendees, and a lot of promoters, it doesn't work. They need 100%.
Yeah.
There's others like this event that we're okay if we're down to 30% because, they're making a lot of money on the auction block. But we've hosted some sporting events and other events throughout, and we're so flexible. We do indoor, outdoor events,
Yeah.
so we're not locked down to one huge arena
Right,
that you're
right.
just doing major acts.
Right. Yeah.
Is this the biggest event you do all year, Mecum?
So I would say that the biggest events, the Mecum is 10, 11 days long. This year it's 10, over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
The fair and the rodeo, they bring in about 100,000 people over a 10-day period as well.
okay.
So it's kind of equal, different crowds.
Right.
The next one after that will be our Country Thunder Music Festival, where over a weekend they're probably doing 40, 50,000, but we hope to be bringing in over 100,000 eventually. So those are, and then again, now that we have Orlando City as an anchor tenant
Yeah.
here, we're going
Yeah.
to be doing a lot of soccer games on property, and then they're here every day. So those are kind of our major anchors at this point. And then we got so many I couldn't mention. We because of who we are, we've had to create this bed and breakfast. The customer service, it sounds cliche, but we have, it has to be customer service because that's what we have mostly. We do have more bells and whistles than we used to. But when we first started, they were just buying my team. That was it. So
Yeah.
we've got people that have been coming here for 16 years.
Sure.
You know, jewelry shows, and the list goes on and on of the types of events. We do wrestling state championships here for many years.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
How many people a year do you think come on property? Do you have a ballpark?
yeah, I did, and it's continued to grow. When we first opened up, it was maybe 300,000. We're up to about 750 a year now.
Wow, that's
almost
pretty good.
3. So our goal is to get to 1 million next. That'll be the next step. But it's constant flow. It's not unheard of because of our flexibility for us on a weekend, any given weekend, to have 6, 7 events going on at the same time.
That's very cool.
You know, we might have one here, event center, stadium, festival, front of the property.
Wow.
You know, so it's kind of fun, like putting a puzzle together.
Yeah.
That's very cool, and it's great because, I mean, you can see just in the care you take at the facility that all those things can commingle and they don't affect each other because the grounds are just so huge and everything is so spaced perfectly, and it's really a fantastic facility.
Oh, it is good. And, you know, I should mention, too, so we've built, I don't know if you've been to the Heritage Club yet. That was the beginning of us.
No, where's that? We're not allowed in many clubs.
We're going to take you there today, okay? It's nice. It's like a restaurant bar.
Oh, all right, okay.
We built here. It was the first project that we came here that said,
And it's on property?
Yeah, it's on property.
Oh, okay.
It's downstairs, and we'll talk offline,
All right.
so we'll let you know when you guys are free today.
All right.
I'd love to take, your wives are here?
No, they'll be here Sunday.
Okay. But anyways, I'll show it to you. But that was our first project to bring us from, I used to joke that we were like in bedrock before, you know.
Right.
But now, like, we're in 2021, and that was our first project to bring us to that area,
Wow.
to that level.
That's cool.
That's very awesome.
That's cool. Rob Larson, what a great story. One day you're going to write a book. What will it be labeled?
I hope so. Oh, where I was going with the Heritage Club,
Oh, okay.
though, I'm sorry, is
No, it's all right.
we have a food and beverage team on property that I just want to give a shout out to them too.
So you're making all the food here
Yes,
on property?
we're on property,
Oh, I
so-
didn't know that. I thought those were all outside. Well, I know you have the outside
we do have
vendors,
outdoor
food trucks.
vendors because yeah.
But so the food in this building you make on site?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and some of the vendors outside are ours too.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
and we'll feed Orlando City, and
Yeah, oh, wow.
we'll cater to
Wow.
around the.
How
around
many
the city.
staff do you have then?
Our total full-time staff is over 50 now.
Wow.
So we're
That's
doing pretty
huge.
good.
I don't
Yeah,
think, yeah.
we're down a few spots now because of the pandemic. With a little bit of attrition that we have to be a little bit more frugal than normal. But Tony Donnelly and his team has a wealth of experience. So we do white glove to hot dogs and anywhere in between. So we're one-stop service for everybody and anything and any type of event. So
Yeah, that's cool.
we're proud of that. So
Yeah,
thank
I
you for
didn't
allowing me
know.
to say that.
No, absolutely. We love local.
Yeah.
Right? We love local, whether it's local radio or local restaurants or local businesses, and any time. And to me, this is still local, even though as big as you guys are, and you bring an international crowd, it's still local. And any time we can bring attention to that and the light to that, I think we need more of that.
Oh, that's great. Well, we appreciate your support with that, getting the word out so everybody knows who we are, right?
And it helps that we're in the background are some really sweet rides.
Oh, yeah.
Pontiac Trans Am's maybe the worst muscle car America's ever made. What? Firebird, I'm sorry, that Firebird.
We're going to
right
talk
there.
about that.
All right. But Rob Larson, thank you so much for your time. And,
Thanks a lot.
What a great story. So what's the name of your book? What will it be? Because you have a book in you, I can tell. In the back of your brain, you're constantly thinking of it.
Yeah, I don't have a name
You've got the
for it.
chapters all lined out.
Yeah, you've kind of stumped me.
Come on.
I don't know, Iceman.
Iceman.
Bad boys for life.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life. Yeah,
All right.
that's a good one.
Hey, Rob Larson, thank you so much for joining us. And again, spectacular facility.
Oh, thank you so much.
Spectacular.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, we love
Our
it.
staff welcomes us every year, and everybody's so great and courteous, and it's fantastic. We really appreciate it.
Great to hear.
All
I'll
right,
pass that.
we're going to be right back. Shane Matthews, Galen Newell, we're live at the Mecum Auto Auction. We'll be right after this.
Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@woca.com.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
Wait, is that the side where the septic tank?
Johnny, get out of there!
Having septic problems? At Mike Scott Plumbing, we can make those septic worries disappear. We can pump your septic tank, repair your drain field, and, if needed, even install a whole new system. At Mike Scott Plumbing, we don't take crap from anyone. We take it from everyone. 237-2888. Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Is the internet driving business to your business? Hi, I'm Michael Warren with Brick City Interactive. At Brick City, we've been putting the web to work for businesses since 1998. We want to help you too, whether you're a real estate office, law office, medical office, manufacturer, retailer, a church, even a radio station like WOCA. We love to help businesses grow, and we have the knowledge and experience to make it happen. We offer professional, affordable web design, mobile responsive websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, web video and promotions, online advertising, and more. Whether it's time for a redesign or whether you want to kickstart your existing website, let us help. Mention WOCA and we'll give you a free, no-obligation search engine optimization report for your website. This free report will give you practical steps to increase your search ranking. It's our gift to you from Brick City Interactive. Call us today at 352-351-1131 or visit us online at brickcity.com.
All right, this is my favorite group. Right here, the Bitters.
The Bitters.
The punk rock group. We're going to let this ride a little bit because it's all drummer.
Yeah, it's a good song.
You think so?
I like this song a lot.
This is actually my favorite song on the new album, Virginia's Burning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I do. I'm serious about that. I've listened.
I love that song. No, that's a fantastic song.
You always make fun of me like you don't listen. I do listen to your music.
No.
When are you guys performing again?
Well, it's up in the air. We're supposed to be performing.
To the public, because you guys perform to yourselves all the time.
That's correct. We're supposed to be performing on January 21st in Gainesville, but there's some little hiccup that may or may not happen. We'll see. It's rocking out over there.
That's the best part. Yeah.
It is.
Don't tell Jason that I like his voice. It'll go straight to his head.
All right. So welcome back.
Yeah, I'm Galen, the old Shane Matthews, the redheaded one. We are live at the block, and the Ford Bronco that went across.
Yeah, that would look like it was maybe a 60.
Yeah, it was
64?
one of the first. I think it may have been the first year of the Bronco.
I don't think so.
I thought 62 is the first year of the Bronco.
I don't remember.
And I think that was a spectacular car.
Look right now. There's a Jeepster.
That is a Jeepster. That's a beautiful Jeepster, actually.
Yeah,
it's a
it is.
beautiful red. And I will tell you, the auction block, when a car rolls through with these lights,
Yeah.
it's pure eye candy.
Unfortunately, for our listeners and or viewers on the if you're
You just
listening on the
wouldn't be able to
radio,
see it,
you can't see what we're seeing, but
That's because my tripod didn't work. Tripod didn't work. I don't know.
But Mecum, it is broadcast. It's not every day. They don't broadcast every day, but they do some of the big days. Usually the weekends they do a lot of the big cars, some of the big collections. One of the things that I thought was interesting about this year is, have you ever heard of a Chevy El Morocco?
No.
So in 1956 and 57, Chevy decided they wanted to take some of the things they've learned from their Cadillac division, but they wanted to make it more of an everyman's car. So they took some elements.
By the way, I want to be clear. That is never a good idea.
Correct. That's why it's only 56 and 57. But so you got basically what looks like a 56 Chevy on the front with some fins like a Cadillac on the back and some of the amenities of a Cadillac. But the point is they're super rare because they sold terribly because they were almost as expensive as a Cadillac. And at the time, Cadillacs were around $7,000, which was about as much it would cost you to buy a house. So as a man, your choice was, do I buy a Cadillac or do I buy a house?
You could live in the box that the Cadillac came in.
So Chevy thought that they would make these El Morocco's
for $15,000.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal.
It's a 1950s Willys Jeepster. Wow, $15,000.
And look what's next to it. There's the
worst
NSX
muscle car ever made.
Acura NSX is
Oh,
right.
that's not it. No, that's a. I thought it was. I'm sorry. I thought that was a Pontiac. All right.
No, that's an NSX.
The glare off of the windshield, off the back window.
But that's the crazy thing about Mecum. If you haven't ever been,
It's not boring. Like you would think seeing 3,500 cars go by would be boring, but it absolutely isn't, because you stop and you talk about, my God, where would you drive that? And the answer is everywhere.
Everywhere.
You would drive that. That's a driver.
And he's talking about a Jeepster
The
right
Jeepster.
now.
I'm pointing because this is radio.
Yeah.
But the Jeepster is, what a great car. And everywhere you go, people are going to look at you. And they're like, oh, that car must be really expensive. 15 grand plus an 18% reserve.
Yeah. Yep.
I do like the NXX, the
I do
Acura.
too. That's
The new ones
they're incredible.
are spectacular. Really, really are. But you were talking about this ridiculous car that is now valuable.
Well, what I was talking about is, the El Morocco.
Yeah.
Well, but what I wanted to say is just they're super rare. It's got the features of a Cadillac, and they got 3 of them that are going to be here this year, and that's pretty cool. I mean, something that neither one of us had ever heard of before. I just mentioned it to you on the radio.
I can just tell you the concept's terrible.
Yeah, well, it's why it only lasted 2 years. But the thing that I find fascinating, maybe not the most about Mecum, is we just went from, what was it, 34 Jeepster to a
59. It was a 59.
59 Jeepster to a Acura NSX. I mean, those 2 cars shouldn't even exist in the same planet, and here they are, 20,
followed by a
20 feet.
2006 Pontiac Solstice. That car had a chance of being really cool, and they screwed it up.
It did. Well, they also made on the same chassis and platform as the View, the Saturn
Yes,
View.
correct, the View,
and they do
yes.
have a cherry. I can't remember what it's called. Cherry Bomb Edition or Ruby Edition. That's what it's called. Ruby Edition. That's going to go across here in a couple of days.
The problem with the Solstice specifically, I think the body shape's not terrible.
The front end is terrible.
Agreed, but it's front-wheel drive. It's got no power. It's a little 4-cylinder, and it could have been the equivalent of an MG Roadster, right? But instead, they turned it into a chick car.
Maybe. But
There's no dudes driving around in a Pontiac Solstice.
I guess
the
that's
guy
true.
who's driving it across the block is embarrassed.
Yeah, he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, and it went for $9,500, and I'd say he overpaid.
Everyone's wearing a mask.
Well, he's correct. And then you got maybe the most famous muscle car of all time, the 55 Buick, right?
You think the 55 Buick is the most famous?
What I
muscle?
mean by that is when you think of like Happy Days or that Bel Air body style, the Buick Bel Air body style.
I got you.
That's what it is.
It is. It definitely is an iconic shape for sure.
And it really is, and and you can do anything with that platform. You can put in a massive engine, right? You could resto mod it.
Well,
you
it's
could do
so
anything
big.
with
You
that
could
platform.
probably put 2 massive engines.
You could, but it's a great driving car. I've driven in one, and the person had an LS, I think it was an LS5 engine, but it's very, very smooth because it's so heavy, and you could put massive wheels on there without changing the body style. I think it's incredibly popular. That's a great color, that blue on blue.
It is great.
With a white top. Mm-hmm. People can't see it. Is that a white? No, I guess it's a silver top.
Silver top.
Kind of looks like the Dallas Cowboys. It's a beautiful car. Got the right wheels. It's
Oh,
hard
guys,
to
it even
talk
has the
about.
cowboy wheel. So if you're a Cowboys fan, hurry up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you just missed it.
Yeah, I know we're talking about a car that you can't see, but it's the Buick Century. It's going for $32,000. Can't tell what engines it's got here, but it's sold at 32. But again, the iconic cars of our generation, I still
Well, that
hold
was a
on.
resto mod as well.
Oh, that is perfect. Are for right now, like people are going to look back on it and go, do you remember the 2021 Corvette?
For sure.
I just, and when you look at every year, you don't have a great car every year, but you have a car that's memorable every 5 years. So if you're thinking of like
I see what you're saying.
2010, right? And again, this is right off the cuff. I'd have to think about it a little bit. You look at when the Camaro came out with the new Camaro body style. That was iconic.
Yeah.
Like the new Dodge platform with Challenger and the Charger.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think they nailed the Challenger. I think they did a really good job.
I would agree with you. I would agree 100%
I'm a
with
little
Challenger.
biased because I own one, but I think they did a really good
you
job.
own half of one.
I make every darn payment.
No, I meant it's got a 6-cylinder, so you really only have
that's fair.
half of a
Well,
Challenger.
the kid who drives it just turned 17, and this is a second set of tires, but he doesn't do that.
Yeah. I know we can get a really good deal on a third set of tires.
You do? I think they're in my garage.
I think they might be.
But, and that's another thing I think that cars, there was always this time, well, there will come a time when you don't need to modify your car.
I don't think that's ever
But I
going to
think
happen.
that's always will be the case.
Yeah, I think
right?
that's, I wonder, is that an American thing? I mean, I know
No.
British people do it,
No,
but I can't.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Germans do it.
Do French people
I
do
think,
it?
Well, they don't really count as people. They're Canadian.
So
French Canadians?
So Canadians, if you're Canadian, do you modify
one of
your
our
car?
favorite shows of all time.
Snow tires don't count.
There's no point. You can't ever drive it. No,
one of our favorite shows.
I'm not allowed to talk about Canadians on this show. But again, I love making a car your own. And people don't even think about that. They may not do a thing on the inside or the outside. But if you look at every car, you could look in somebody's car and it gives you a piece of who they are. Right? Whether it's some person who's got their graduation tassel hanging on their rear view mirror, or the 9,000 masks,
right?
Or
right.
whatever it is.
Or they may not have trash bags ever, so they have
Then you know that their life is full of dirt bags.
Yeah.
What is going across the block right now? A 32 Ford Coupe. Overrated car. It's not finished.
No, that's
fenders.
No, but that's a race.
It's a boat tail.
That's a race car.
It's the boat tail. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
40 grand asking right now. But again, see, that's the kind of thing that you're like, if you own that car and you see the boat tail woody finish on the back, that speaks to you as an individual.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what's great about cars.
Yeah, because every car should have more wood on the outside.
Yes.
I was not being serious.
No. Like the Delahaye that we're going to go look at?
That's no wood.
It's a wood frame.
But now, I guess that's true.
It's a wood frame. One of my favorite cars is a Morgan, a car manufacturer. It's a wood frame. They still make them out of wood. I don't know how practical that is. They don't even make boats out of wood anymore.
No, they don't.
For the right reason. But that's one of the things that I think we love about cars is you can hate that car, right? You can hate the look, but you still respect it because it's art.
I don't hate that car. I picture if you have that car, you have to have a leather hat, leather cap,
with the goggles.
And the goggles. That's the only way to drive.
The leather
that.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the what do they call it? The derby thing?
leather helmet, definitely.
Yeah.
If you were a football player when the NFL started, that is your car.
It's really, really cool. It went for I don't know what it went for.
So for those of you listening, picture a biplane with no wings.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we're back. All right. So here, I'll hold it up. So there's what we're looking at right now. That's
you got two Mustangs on the block right now. You've got
tons of Mustangs with a Jeep following it. But again, it's Mecum, and it's an event that you and I talk about all year long.
People watching at home love the continuous movement of the camera.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's terrible. That's why I don't make millions on YouTube.
Yeah, that's why?
Well, there's several reasons. All right.
That's why.
But what else should we talk about with cars? Interiors. So you know me, I'm a big wheel and tire guy.
Yeah.
You not so much. You like stock. You're pretty boring anyway.
I don't like stock, but I'm indecisive. When I go, I'll go look at trucks.com and look at wheels, and I'll look for 3 hours. And I'll put 17 different wheels in my cart, and I can never decide which ones I think I should order, so that I don't order any.
I'm going to tell you a story about my neighbor.
Are you?
So if he's going to buy a weed whacker, he'll buy 3 of them.
That's true.
Try them out, and then return all 3 of them, and maybe keep one, but Most of the time, he just returns all 3 of them.
No,
Because you
always
can't make
get
up your
one.
mind.
No, I always. You have. It's rule of 3. You have to try 3. Everything in 3s.
You couldn't afford to do that with rims, wheels.
Well, that's that's the problem. That's why I don't ever buy any, because I can't decide which 3 I should have bought out of the 17 that I liked. So then I don't buy any.
It's so great.
It's tough. It's tough life.
All right. So we're at the time of the show where I want you to share your steak story.
Okay.
And I'm going to do my best
To not ruin it.
to not interrupt.
Well, this is going to be a very short segment then. So we went out for dinner for Galen's wife's birthday. And in my head, and my wife and I already talked about it, we had decided that we were going to pay for dinner. We have this thing where Galen likes to be, what do you call it?
Big time?
Big time. Galen likes to big time you, where he'll go out and the bill comes and he slaps a card down very dramatically, and he likes to do that. That's his
I don't know
move.
about the dramatically part.
Well, in my story, it's dramatic.
That's fair. It's your story.
So we go to dinner, and I already know that I'm paying for dinner. So we go to this, very nice place, very intimate atmosphere, great wine selection, and they have Kobe beef on the menu. And
Kobe. Now you got to explain what Kobe beef
so
is.
Kobe beef is it's very it's very expensive.
It is very expensive.
They feed it beer, they give it massages.
They feed it beer and honey,
Yeah.
and they give it 2 to 3 massages a day.
Yeah, and it's
It's a cow.
Yeah, it's a cow.
It's still a cow.
But and I think they let it watch TV and Nintendo on the weekends. So I have already decided that I've been to this restaurant a couple times, so I've had their normal. So this was something new, and I was like, you know what? I've not had Kobe beef before. I'm going to give it a shot. So
Now, he ordered last.
I ordered last.
This is a key point.
On purpose.
He ordered last.
Yeah. So everybody ordered their thing, and everybody's meal was normal. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get the Kobe. And I see Galen gets very uncomfortable. He shifts in his chair a little bit. I see a bead of sweat roll kind of down the side of his head, just a little bit. And I could see in his mind, he's trying to figure out how much time he would have had to work to pay for that 6 ounce. No, this is 6 ounce Kobe steak, and I can see all this playing out on the expression on his face. And I'm not sure if that moment ruined the meal for you, or made it better, or from my perspective, it was awesome and it made the meal for me. I don't know from your side of the table where you were.
I don't think you've told people how much this 6 ounce piece of steak was.
So it was $120 for a 6 ounce steak.
That's pre-tip, pre-tax. It's
Yeah.
$120.
$120
for a 6 ounce steak.
Yeah. And what I will say is the restaurant prepared it wonderfully. They did table side. He came out and he cooked it right next to the table. I say cooked it, but he really kind of just glanced it over the pan lightly.
With no grease.
Yeah.
You didn't, there was nothing to oil the pan.
No.
The butteriness of the steak
Yeah.
coated the steak.
Now, did I share with you?
You gave me a bite, and I was tentative.
So, would I do it again? Probably not. Especially after what we talked about earlier, the steaks my wife can get and bring home are, for
She
me,
wasn't
that's a
working
steak.
there at the time, and she
maybe
she had just started.
Maybe she just started.
Yeah.
But, so at the time, that was the pinnacle. But I got to tell you, where she works, I would take that hands down. FM meat products. So hands down, best steak you can get, and you can get it twice, 2 locations.
So the bill comes, and we had drinks.
Yeah.
We had like a row of port.
We had a flight of port.
The flight of port was $125.
Something like that.
Because once he ordered the Kobe, I was like, well, okay. And the check comes. I'm like, oh my god! And I made eye contact with my wife, and I'm like, we're cutting this thing in half, like half.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca goes, and she looks right at me. She goes, we're paying. I'm like, oh, thank God. I was literally, and I'm in my brain, and anybody who has boys. So I've trained my boys at a young age that you need to be able to calculate what your meal is going to cost
Right.
as you're going, and you have to include the tip because you need to make sure that this is why women order first. It's not chivalry. It's so I can base my decision on what she orders. I told my wife that. She got really mad.
So are you getting the chicken special, or are you going to get a steak yourself?
Or am I just, I could really use a soup.
I could really go for a nice
I
salad.
get it, it's July, it's 104, but your soup is spectacular. So we don't have a soup. Crackers will be fine. But I've always trained my boys, and so in my brain, I'm calculating the cost as we're going along. Everybody orders, it's just a natural thing for me. And when he talks about the beat, I was literally going, oh, this is going to be fun. And I'm calculating how many hours this is going to take me to pay off at work. And so she paid the bill, and I was like, oh, heck yes, freedom. I don't have to work until I'm 97 to pay off this bill.
And then we were able to go to one other place because he had such a weight lifted off his shoulders that the whole night wasn't ruined.
Correct. I could digest my food at that point. Because this I ordered last. Because I'm not kidding. If you would have ordered that, I would have gone to you and I'm like, you know what? Your appetizers are spectacular. Can I just have 2 of those? And I don't ever want to know how much the bill cost.
It was a lot.
But with the tip, it had to be massive.
It was pretty good.
It was a phenomenal meal. It was a great night. Thank you for doing it.
It was one trip. One of my road trips.
One cruise. But it was a spectacular evening. So that's the Kobe beef story.
Yeah.
Any cars that have passed up that create anything? We're right now into the 60s. What would you call those? The long sedans.
Yeah.
That you're just getting out of the fins or into the fins, because I think that's a 65 Mercury Monterey Marauder. That's a good looking car. I like that color. It's kind of a off-white bluish. Pretty car.
It is.
And then right behind it's another Impala. What year is that? Is that a 61? 60? Yeah, because it's got the beautiful fins.
It's got the low fins, not the bigger fins.
If you were to hit somebody with the back of that, they would just die because you would puncture them.
Yeah.
It's a pretty car. Wonder what that car will go to. That's a $30,000 car, I think, depending on what the engine package is, and we can't tell.
It's 30 on the block right now.
They don't have the books that we're used to having where we could follow through, so everything's online now. But
the back of that car reminds me of? The 60s Batmobile. Which is coming across the block. Not now.
So who would be Batman and who would be Robin if you had this?
Well, if I'm buying it, I'm obviously Batman, Boy Wonder.
Yeah, would I rock a Robin suit in that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you're going to do it, do it. And I saw one at Dragon Con, and they had the plexiglass bubble.
Yeah.
And here's the downside of that plexiglass bubble. When you're going in Atlanta in the beginning of September and it's 97 degrees, the condensation is so bad in it because it doesn't have air conditioning.
Right.
They had to take it off.
I don't know if the one that's going to be here has the plexiglass bubble.
I'm sure it's removable.
I think that may have only been on
you hope it has air conditioning. It's a parade float.
Yeah, for sure.
If you really want to flex on somebody at work and go, oh yeah, you think you're a geek? I'll be right back. And you bring back your Batmobile. Because I'm sorry, whatever car you bring from henceforth, the Batmobile is going to trump.
Yeah.
It's the most iconic car of any screen, movie.
I think that's
there's
correct.
been a bunch of them, right? But you even look at the modern Batmobile with Keaton, right, where he drops down.
That's where you go modern, is Keaton? That's your modern Batmobile?
It's pretty good. That's when they got the Marauder with the big tires.
Yeah, I understand.
It's good looking. That would be sweet. No, I mean, you have the Bandit car. You have Dukes of Hazzards.
Yeah.
The Batmobile's way up there.
Knight Rider.
Back to the Future, Knight Rider. Only because of the lights.
I think Back to the Future is more iconic than Knight Rider now.
I agree.
Now, when we were younger, it was different, but I think now, kids
even when I was younger, if you were to choose, okay, you could have the one from the Dukes of Hazzards, name went right out of my
General Lee.
Mm-hmm. Or you could have, Knight Rider. You would say General Lee.
Yes.
Because we all knew that Knight Rider just had the lights.
Yeah. And to be fair to what you said earlier, that era of Trans Am
It's terrible.
was not good.
No, it's terrible. The 80s really started in like 85 is when they really changed and made that, remember the round?
Yeah.
And then they went with the sharp fins.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a terrible looking car.
It is.
How about that? We got lunch today.
That's pretty nice.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get the white glove treatment.
We'll probably get the hot dog treatment, but you know what?
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
okay with that.
I love a good hot dog.
Yeah.
So we got another VW Bug. That's cool. It's got a little luggage rack on there.
That is a nice looking Bug. Looks like it's dropped a little bit.
I'm surprised there are this many people here. Look at the crowd is big.
Yeah, they've changed up the table configuration this year. They've had spread people out a little bit more than what they have in years past.
This is a much bigger crowd than I expected.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on a Friday during the week. I mean, normally Saturdays are your big days. It opened just yesterday, Thursday. I think, yesterday was the first day.
Would you buy a Carmen Gia? Carmen, is there a name? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Carmen Gia.
Carmen Gia, like that's right over there. I like the Carmen Gia. I love that. You know, I love that Roadster body shape.
I don't know that I
That may
would
be
buy
my
it.
favorite Roadster. If you look at the MG, even the Porsche.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're
that Carmen
wrong
Gia
about
looks
that.
much better than any of the MGs.
I would definitely take a Porsche for sure.
No. I don't consider the Porsche a Roadster.
The 50s Porsche?
Oh, that's
like a box car?
$2.5 million car.
Yeah, but
this is a Carmen Gia that you could pick up for $24 grand.
Yeah. Well,
it's got no rubber left in it because it's all rotted away, but you could. That's an ugly truck.
It's original 50,000 original miles.
Doesn't mean it's good. That's a beater. All right, so what else are you looking forward to looking at?
Oh, well, as we were driving in, I saw one of my personal favorite cars, a Jaguar XJ220.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They're about 19,000 feet long. I'm not sure it's going to fit in here because it's got to be it's got to be the longest.
Jag, of course.
Well, sports car, like super
built.
sport car.
Foreign built, that's of this era, right? Of the last 50 years. Right?
It's got to be.
Yeah, I can't think of another car that's that long from Europe because they've always had small cars.
Even in America, in that era, there's not anything that comes close. I think it's longer than my Suburban.
Yeah, but the Cadillac Eldorado.
I'm not talking about Cadillacs. I'm not talking about like 60s and 70s. Obviously, those are super long cars, but I'm talking about, 80s and up.
This is the worst Corvette ever made right here coming on the block. That 80s Corvette.
You say that like you wouldn't take one.
I wouldn't.
If somebody walked up and said, hey, here, you can have this.
I think they call that the C5. I would not own a C5. Now, there's a Porsche Boxster right behind it.
Yeah, there is.
God, that's spectacular.
I mean, it's no Carmen Gia.
You're right. It's not. One is going to be 190 grand, and one's going to be 15. So, all right, we're wrapping this up.
Yep.
So I think today was a pretty good day. We heard from the marketing director early on. First came on, we had some issues, and he wasn't supposed to be here till 10:10. He showed up at 10 o'clock.
It's all right.
Makes it a little tough. And but again, I think Rob was awesome.
Yeah, Rob was an awesome
great
interview.
story.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll have lunch with us so we can hear more about his stories because they're pretty impressive.
They really are, and a super nice guy.
$8 grand
for that truck.
No, I went for 11. I'm sorry. They're looking at this Corvette. It's a 1993. It's a convertible. That's the only reason why anybody's buying it. It will not hit 20 grand.
That's a pretty color, though.
It's got a nice looking green to it.
Yep.
Only a Jag should be green.
The Jim Clark green.
True. It's absolutely right. F1 driver. It's a good pull. You don't even like F1. All right. Well, I want to thank the Martones for allowing me to kidnap the radio station. Tom Schmitz for letting me kidnap the last hour of the show. Tom, thank you very much. Maybe next year we'll allow you to come. Maybe. We'll see. This 550, oh, it's a kit car. It's a Spider replica. That thing is spectacular. That's the way to do it, though. That way you could drive it.
I'd take that over Carmen
You
Ghia.
couldn't drive that in our neighborhood. It would grind over the speed bumps.
Oh, it's already up to 20 grand.
Oh yeah, that's a $50,000 car all day. All right, anything else you want to shout out to?
No, thanks for letting me come along. I really appreciate it. If you're looking for some fun entertainment, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe thebitters.com or weare12tv.com. You can check those two things out. I'm involved with both of those projects. Other than that, it's been a great time. I always like chatting with you about cars. Are one of our favorite. This is what we do anyway. We might as well do it here. Yeah, we might as well. This is kind of a snapshot of what it's like on the porch, except there's no scotch here.
And nobody gets offended.
Well,
I probably offended some French Canadians.
You probably did. I'm sure of it.
All right. Well, you are listening to WOCA The Source. For my man Shane Matthews, I'm Galen Unold. Please check out the Mecum Auto Auctions and again, sponsor everything that's local. I think as a community and as individuals, we need to get out there and support our local communities by showing up, eating out at dinner. We're going to be out at dinner tonight, so if you want to meet us at this restaurant that's kind of in the sky and buy us a drink, feel free. But hey, thank you guys very much for listening. This is WOCA The Source.
WOCA.
Frustrated, short on words and overwhelmed. I bring you flowers and obscenities. You said it mattered, but it didn't. 'Cause you're one point up and one foot out the door. This is conversation hell, and I'm feeling like an idiot. So fan the flames I've been for days on shit I never said. But 1, 2, 3, we'll do it again. Still shaking, out of breath, but sober now. I fucked this up and you're not listening.